Henry returns to Hong Kong after serving several years in the U.S. military. Ready for a fresh start, he decides to become a teacher at his former school, Taki Secondary. At first, the principal hesitates, pointing out Henry's lack of teaching experience. But after seeing a strong recommendation letter from a high-ranking official, he agrees to hire Henry. Before leaving, Henry learns he's assigned to the school's most troublesome class. On his first day, Henry walks into his classroom only to find total chaos. Some students sleeping, others playing video games, a few singing loudly, and some even cooking ramen on a portable stove. The students completely ignore him, continuing their activities without pause. Henry tries to gain their attention, but it's useless. Realizing this, he calmly moves around the room, commenting humorously on their actions instead. He tells the students cooking ramen to watch their sodium intake. Approaching a student named Zufa, who's playing the ukulele, Henry offers him musical advice. To another absorbed in gaming, he warns about the dangers of prolonged exposure to radiation from screens. Slowly, his friendly approach begins catching their attention. He finally introduces himself and writes his name and phone number on the board. The class laughs, teasing him about his messy handwriting. A student even calls him on his phone, jokingly asking him to leave. The class quickly loses interest again. Determined to get their full attention, Henry cleverly uses a rubber band and chalk to trigger the room's fire sprinkler system. Students scramble to avoid getting soaked, finally giving him their undivided attention. Henry smiles and officially welcomes them to his class. Afterward, 5 of the class's lowest performing students gather secretly in the sports supply room to smoke. Jack, their leader, secretly admires a top-grade student from another class. His friends discovered him looking at her picture and teased him relentlessly. Their conversation is interrupted when the wealthy and arrogant basketball team members arrive, mocking Jack and his friends for being poor. Later, during basketball practice, Jack and his friends watch nearby. Jack intentionally drops a bottle onto the court, causing the team's captain to fall. They burst out laughing, but quickly face punishment from the school's strict English teacher, Miss Leon. To escape detention, they prank her, distracting her enough to flee unnoticed. Meanwhile, the principal is stressed because the education board plans to cut the school's funding by 20%. Board officials soon arrive to inspect the school's conditions and ensure funds are being spent properly. At the same moment, Henry enters his classroom and narrowly avoids a bucket of water prank set by his students, surprising them with his swift reflexes. Calmly, Henry asks Jack to hand over his cigarettes. Curious, Jack complies. Henry then asks Zufa to name 3 harmful ingredients in cigarettes. When Zufa answers correctly, he's allowed to skip class for the day, exciting the other students who demand the same privilege. Instead, Henry hands everyone a cigarette, challenging them to examine its contents closely. Knowing that simply lecturing won't make an impact, he creatively explains the harmful effects cigarettes have, emphasizing the damage tartar causes to their lungs. For the first time, his students are genuinely engaged and interested in learning. When class ends, Henry asks them to return the cigarettes, which they reluctantly do. During lunch in the cafeteria, tension rises when the basketball captain deliberately trips Jack's friend Bruce, triggering an argument that escalates into an all-out fight. Food and tables are thrown as the cafeteria descends into chaos. Later, Henry learns that 5 students from his class, including Jack, are temporarily suspended for initiating the fight. Walking through the hallway, Henry spots Jack fighting once again and immediately intervenes to stop them. When Henry asks Jack to calm down, Jack angrily points out that the school treats students unfairly, letting rich kids go unpunished. After school that day, Henry takes time to review the files of the 5 suspended students, aiming to understand their backgrounds better. The first student is Zufa. He's the son of a Pakistani immigrant and faces constant discrimination because of his ethnicity. The local police often unfairly accuse him of theft. Despite his difficult life, Zufa dreams of becoming a musician someday. The second student is a girl named Dan. Her father has been disappointed in her since birth as he always wanted a son instead. Dan has spent her entire life trying desperately to earn her father's respect. She even cut her hair short and played with toy cars to behave more like a boy. Still, her father ignores her, showering all his affection on her younger brother. Then there are two brothers, Bruce and Chris. Their mother ran off with another man when they were very young, leaving their father heartbroken and dependent on alcohol. With no emotional support, Bruce immersed himself in video games to escape reality, while Chris took responsibility by working in a begging him not to go. Although heartbroken by his absence, the students promised themselves they'll do well on their exams to make Henry proud and clear his name. Determined more than ever, the students study harder, pushing themselves to their limits. On the morning of the exam, Jack and his classmates receive a message from Henry, telling them to meet at school an hour before the test. But upon arriving, they realize it was a trap set by Jinning, aiming to sabotage their chances by locking them inside so they would miss the exam just to hurt Henry. Shortly after, Henry arrives at school and quickly understands what's going on. He helps the students escape, bravely confronting Jinning's gang to protect them. As the students hurry towards the examination hall, Henry and Jinning engage in a fierce one-on-one battle. During the fight, Jinning reveals he was the boy whose arm Henry broke years ago, destroying his dreams of becoming a pianist. Ever since then, Jinning hasn't touched a piano, blaming Henry